Okay, so the elements of communication. Um, with this basically, we are going to look at what we call communication models. A model is a simplification of a phenomenon. Just so a model is a simplification of a given phenomenon. So if we want to understand what communication is, we can use what we call models because they can really help us to understand what is it there that happens when communication is taking place. So one aspect is to understand that communication is two-way. When you send a message, you send it to a person who will receive it and decode the message. And then that person will send message back to you. So it is two-way. So understanding this kind of model of or this kind of uh, uh, communication mechanism is very, very key because it provides you with an insight of who is involved in communication and when, and how communication actually functions. In the simplest way, we can say that communication has the sender, the receiver, message channel, and then the feedback. That's the simplest communication model. So if you ask you to mention the elements of communication, those are the ones you should be saying. So the sender is where the message originates from. This person should have the necessity to communicate to you. There should be an intent for them to make that communication. We can call them encoder. The sender can be called an encoder because the message that they want to pass will have to be passed either through spoken words or through written words or through signs or symbols. The packaging of that message is what we call encoding. So transforming the person's thoughts, ideas, perception, attitude into words is what we call encoding. And then the receiver will decode the message. The receiver will decode the message. So the receiver will interpret the message. They therefore make meaning out of the message. Okay? So if you don't encode properly, then the decoding will also be difficult. Or the person will not get the right message from the right meaning out of the message set. And then the noise. The noise is basically the barriers of communication. It means that it interferes with the way messages are transmitted from the sender to the receiver. Therefore, we should deal with the noise associated. The noise can be internal or external from the surrounding. So the message can come in a variety of symbols, a variety of signs. Okay. And it is very, very, very important element of communication. So it can be written, it can be oral, it can be visual, it can be symbolic. Okay. The message is perceived by the receiver, not just intended by the sender. The channels of communication, we already talked about them earlier on in, I think it was the second slide. When the person receives the message, they need to give a response back to the receiver. This is very important for effective communication. The feedback allows you to know that the message that you sent was interpreted in the right way. If the receiver does not send you a reply, it has a lot of implications. It means a lot of things. Either they have not understood your message, either they have understood your message and ignored it, or any other thing associated with that message. So we have looked at the simplest model of communication, which you said it has the sender, the sender, the receiver, the channel. Okay. So one of the models that is actually commonly used is what you're actually seeing on the screen. The one by Shannon Weaver. It has the sender, who's basically the encoder, and the message being transmitted through the channel. The circumstances under which the message is passed may be can create kind of interference, and that's what we call noise. And then the person who receives the message is the decoder, okay, who basically interprets or gets meaning out of the message sent.